Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where the orchard of wisdom shows are at your fingertips. It ignites your soul, your heart, your spirit, your mind, and your body with illumination from people who have made the journey before you. They're here now to help you on your journey, on your path of self-discovery. We are funded by you, the audience, and the people we interview. If you wish to support us, please go to selfdiscoverymedia.com and press on our Fund Action button. Anything is appreciated. We'd like you to sit back and enjoy the shows. Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Choose Positive Living right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my repeat guest is Irene Lotvin. Today, we're going to be talking about a book that she has collaborated with a bunch of other women and all of their beautiful expertise. She calls it My Mess is My Message. And, our mess is actually where we find our clarity and we find our meaningful purpose. And we're going to be talking about her chapter contribution today, but also some of the other women in there and what they're in contributing to this book. It is lovely when you get a collaborative book, because then that means that you're getting a beautiful smorgasbord, a buffet of wisdom from a bunch of people that really, really can have an impact on your life. But Irene has been here with us before, and I invite you to go back and listen to our last show with us. And she's here on a mission to heal our Mother Earth as it's getting abused and depleted. And she's here also to help us correct our hormone imbalance so we can get back to life with full earth energy and health and lose the bloat and everything else that goes with it. And that could be kind of taken in a double way. It's the kind of the bloating that we have physically because of hormones. It also can be kind of the bloating that the world is having at the present moment, in it's the status and the state that it's in. And so it's kind of, we're balancing our hormones, but we need to balance Earth's hormones as well. And that means we need to kind of calm down, folks. Welcome back to the show, Irina.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to, give the message to everything is possible. You're not alone, and as a collective, we can definitely heal ourselves, and we definitely can heal the earth, and the earth will heal us back.
Yes, but we've got to be kind of respectful towards the earth, which we haven't been showing of late. What I love about collaboration, I always say that we're responsible for our own self-discovery of what our instrument is. What's our gift? What's our meaningful purpose? Refine it, perfect it, and then bring it to the orchestra of life. And when you have a book like this, it's kind of a beautiful amount of people with their own instruments have created their own orchestra for like a piece of music that's going to resonate out to people on so many different levels. We're going to talk about your chapter in it, but tell us something about the other women that are in this book.
So it's interesting how things happen in life, and we know it. Everything happens for a reason. I was on my mission to start writing my own book based on Chinese medicine and my training that I had. How can each person, contribute to their own healing based on the very simple steps? And I was just giving it out to the universe. I want to write a book. And I started looking into it. And then a friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, she's a doctor, reached out to me and said, we're doing this book as a collective women project to basically spread the news how the healing can happen. Would you like to be part of it? I'm like, wow, yes, totally. And it's becoming available on April 1st on the Amazon. So the whole journey started very recently. I just jumped on this opportunity because, you want to share with the world how I corrected my own, they call it dis-ease at a time that I was going through the crisis, and I was in, the learning of Chinese medicine also. And so I was very passionate to look at it in a different ways than Western medicine and not get on the drugs and, and decided I'm not going in with the flow of, operations and drug industry. And I figured out a way. And all other women have very similar stories, whether they were in some sort of a trauma or abuse situation, or developing some sort of illness like cancer and were able to reverse their own by their own adversary, so their trauma basically became their gift, as you just said
Yes.
before.
Mhm.
So we're here to share that, people out there, women, men, they don't have to be alone.
Mhm.
We had figured out the way, and there's different chapters. There's 17 women that someone who is going to read this book is going to resonate with one of us, that if they want to reach out and get the instructions of how to do it, we had figured it out, all the steps for you. So it's very beautiful
Yeah,
collaboration.
and as I said, it's wonderful when people can share this, because basically the chapter is a brief intro into their lives, and hopefully I will be getting to interview some of these people where we can dive in a bit deeper. But it's like I said, it's like a buffet, a little taste of this and a little taste of that, and partaking of each chapter. Okay, this chapter didn't really relate to me, but I know somebody who's going through this, right? Or later on, you're in a conversation and somebody brings it up. I read something on that, and that's the thing about having that kind of knowledge and storing it. You never know when you're going to be able to use it, whether it's not going to be used directly on you or if it's going to be something that you need to help, somebody else with. So that's why kind of a lot of little knowledge in one area is a wonderful introduction into diving into the bigger knowledge, which then you can reach out to each person and go deeper.
Yes, and as a matter of fact, like, I'm myself interested in some of the women collaborations. That one woman is was diagnosed legally blind and decided to heal herself.
Mm.
And as a result, she developed a course in cooking. And so she has most beautiful cooking instructions for people that are busy on the road, on the run, how to make simple food, healthy, delicious, and balanced. And I absolutely love, I mean, there is so many gifts out there. I don't want to describe and give all away. I think everybody should get a book on April 1st, and dive into each story and just be yummy, yummy surprised with this buffet that you could get.
I also like the fact that that some of the proceeds are going into two different organizations, womentrafficking.org and cleanouroceans.org. So clearly this is something that's very important to the authors, and it's great. Not only are you giving back in the book, but the proceeds going out to other organizations that's helping empower them, and it's the gift that keeps on giving, and when you have that knowledge, it just keeps on giving. And you may be interested in one chapter today because that's where you're at, but then down the road, oh, something else has come up that was in the book. Now you can read that chapter more intently and realize, oh, I need that solution right now.
Yes, and it's out there, and we've gone through so much learning, all of us there, that it's just such a beneficial link to people that are finding, their ways and want solutions right away, and not go, to go to the alternative way, basically, and heal themselves internally and not from the outside,
Yeah.
that has actually debilitated us, the outside forces
Yes.
that what causes all of us
Yeah, I
mentally,
mean, when
physically.
we look at love, which we want people to step into, what is the opposite of that? That's fear. Right. And what does fear do? It causes imbalance. It's insecurity. It's a lack of knowing. It can breed hate and violence, and most certainly dis-ease, because it is tearing you apart and
Yes,
everything else around you. So, what many times when people get diagnosed with something or they have a health issue, they become fearful. And that's the worst thing you can become, because you're disrupting even more. And I
yes,
think you need to, as hard as it can be, is step into trust. Okay, I have this, but I know there is an answer. And
there
I
is.
just need to go on that discovery. And of course, having a book like this, where there's 17 different chapters in there, that means 17 different type of problems that people can dive into. It really can be, let's look at the solution, let's seek the solution before we panic.
Yes, and all the solutions are really usually in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
So finding and resonating with one that talks to you, that you're going through at the moment, is, yeah, what's so beneficial, I think, that somebody who will read this book and be saying like, yes, I went through, like in my case, I had a GI issue, which is called uh,
Gastroenteritis.
yes, and I had the IBS, and it
Mm-hmm.
started with the stress, and and how to not get there. But if you do get there, because sometimes not everybody knows how to control the stress, and just like you said, over time, you get to that fear, or you get to that disease becomes deeper and deeper and deeper, and then you can still get out of it. So there is still hope, because I've done it, and there are other women that have done their journeys
Mm-hmm.
and reversed their situations, and now they're striving and wanting to share with others how they've done it so that you can do it.
Right. Let's talk about the gut issue, because we talk to people about trust your gut. When your gut says no or yes, I don't need to validate, it just is. But then also our gut is inclined to also tell us when something's wrong physically or emotionally. We talk about the bloating, and really kind of the earth being in bloating right now. Everybody needs a damn good fart. Just release it. and but it is that constant bloating up of things, which is the bloating up of fear, the bloating up of hysteria. But it's a lot to do with diet, it's a lot to do with the way we carry ourselves. But I suffer from IBS as well, and I know when it's going to flare up, right? So it's something that we need to get a handle on, because if we're not taking care of the colon, the kidney and the liver suffer, and the heart suffer, and the brain suffers. 30% of your intake of your food goes to your brain. If it's not being digested properly, if it's causing colon problems, the brain isn't getting its substance, nor is the rest of the body. So let's kind of address that a little bit, of how we can again deflate the stomach.
Sure. So yes, so in my story, I do say, I've gone deep dive into, learning and researching of how not to, because I had been put on steroids, and I, had been in a condition where they were going to operate on me to get rid of that part of the area that was specifically inflamed to the point where they didn't think they could save it. But I decided to go the alternative way, and I had a little time to do it, and I turned it around, and the doctor was like in amazement, and he said, "Oh, but it's not scientifically proven." I'm like, "Okay, but I'm the case right here. So would you
Yeah.
rather cut out my colon, or would you rather, be happy for me that I am here today?"
Yes.
And got it solved. So yes, today, as a matter of fact, if you know, and I'm sure you do know, that there is so much more scientific proof that's coming on the surface, where we say gut and brain connection is real.
Yes.
And so, yes, so whatever we are digesting really is who we are. And in Chinese medicine, our gut, there's different paths of how we can look at, and I do like a real deep intake diagnostics when I do address, because sometimes the colon that can be affected could be affected by something going on in other organ system as well. So it's really hard to just put it all in one bundle.
Right.
But yes, the gut is definitely what we eat. The gut is also considered to be our stomach is our earth, which is over worrying, over thinking, over doing, over anything. Basically, if you think about the earth gets to spin
Yes.
around, and it becomes like crazy and then out of balance. So you want to keep that calm. So, a lot of practices, you could do with meditation, you could do with breathing, to rewire your sympathetic system. And there are very simple things and steps that I teach in the program that I offer myself. But it all comes in the combination of how do you rebalance your gut with your brain, and also the food. Of course, I use
Yes.
food as medicine, and it's extremely important, because when your gut is inflamed, if you put any inflammatory items in there, including alcohol and coffee and soda and sugar, you will get a gluten sometimes because, you get perforated linings and the gut starts to leak, the inflammation starts to leak into the other areas of our bodies. And also really healing the gut is what is so important. And I use food as medicine in my practice, and doing different steps of, for example, doing we do fasting, but fasting is done on specific liquids, like on the broth that's done specifically, that's high in calcium and minerals for a couple of days, 3 days or so, 2 days, sometimes 1 day a week. And, I give all the preparations and how to, and it's easy and simple, surprisingly. And if you think about, generally speaking, like when animals get sick, what do? They go into hibernation and they go into fasting. Like you've seen, even cats at home, sometimes they'll just, if they're sick, they'll just crawl somewhere and they'll just be there for days, sometimes not eating anything, because what it is, it's self-healing mythology that really happens. So we are very similar in that sense, like, giving a break to the system, doing the detoxes are very important, and depends what kind, like specifically for what issue. So if it's specifically for colon, then you want to mineralize it, with specific broth that we do on your own at home. That's easy and easy steps to follow. So my big takeaway from this, of course, is connecting to your body. Like even right now, as we're sitting, like, taking a breath and just like, slowly internally, like almost in a halfway sleeping position, not to feel your heart as it's racing. Is your tummy tight right now? Are you breathing fully with your chest? Are you like relaxing with your shoulders back? Are you taking this, beautiful experience as we're talking, because, we all live in the everyday, daily stress life. There's so much things that are happening, and, we know that as older we get, the more stuff there is.
Yes. Yeah. We're all going to react. It's being aware of how we react and the response that it's having on our body.
Yes.
Some people may get migraines and not even associate it to the stomach. Which I know that, for a friend of mine who had migraines all the time, it was purely digestive.
Liver.
And so things weren't digesting properly, they weren't releasing properly. And so, the toxins were then going up into the heads. And we can even look at toothache, we can look at other things, and we can think that is the problem. No, that is the symptom. And we need to trace back where the problem comes from.
Root cause, we call it the root, where the root started happening. And it could be trauma, because every organ has also a spirit, and the spirit is also emotion. And so every organ is described, like, for example, when you say headaches, and right away for me it's like liver, because liver, and it could be anger, and it could be toxic, it could be toxic thoughts around anger, and you're not releasing it. So there is protocols that I can do, that will release traumatic experiences that we hold in our organ system too. That could be also not necessarily just food. So it's really encompassing the whole system. Mind, body, spirit. Body, mind, spirit.
Yeah, and heart and soul. The whole thing has to be incorporated in there. And this is, Western medicine has its benefits, most certainly. They can do some miraculous things. But when it comes into sustaining a well balance of the body, they're there to fix, not there to kind of root cause balance. And really what our life needs to be, as this planet needs to be, and the planet isn't right now, is in balance. And that means that, we're all going to have some stress coming into our lives. How do we handle it? How do we not take it on? Or if it is something that directly is at us, how do we deal with it so that it doesn't consume us?
Yes. And I just want to add that the biggest thing that one can have is a support system,
Yes.
And we women especially, we need that support system, because we're just nurturers by nature, and we can't do it alone. We really can't. We need support.
Yeah. And, I'm going to reach out to the men on that too, because for far too long, it's about suck it up, don't show your emotion. and you suck it up, you're going to end up with some physical problems, right? So it is, men need to know that they can cry. You know, they can spend an emotion, that this is not unmanly for them to do so, and that it is actually imperative that they do, so that that suppression isn't going to manifest itself in cancer or heart disease or a stroke or something like that. We are meant to release our emotions, acknowledge them and release them, not get stuck in them.
Yes, and more actually men groups are coming around where they do a lot of support, and there's nothing to be ashamed about it. We all need that support. And and usually your mothers are the ones that, gather all, of course, boys and girls, under their wings. And it's okay to either, if you feel comfortable, to work with the female side, but it's also important to have your male side supporting the men as well, because they understand each other and there's a certain camaraderie, like if we go back to Amazon culture, right?
Which we're kind of trying to steer away from, because with the yin and yang of us is the female and the male side of us. Every single one of us has it in us. Absolutely. And there are many, many times we are called on as women to kind of step into that yang, masculine side of us, right? And so, but we spurn men if they step into the feminine side. But we want them to, because they need to do that not only for their self-healing, but to understand the healing nature of life in itself, and to actually understand that relationship with other people from that level. And so if a lot of, our health problems that we have out today, our emotional problems, are a resistance to dealing with the problem. And then that problem ends up manifesting in a health issue in the body.
Fortunately, yep, a lot of it. And doctors, as wonderful as they are, and they are needed in crises, when you go to a doctor and what do the doctor usually say? Like, if you have high cholesterol or you have high blood pressure, change your diet. But do they really give you steps? They don't know, because they do not have more than 5 hours of training in food,
in nutritional, at
all. So it's changing slowly, I hope, but it's not yet. And so we have to step out, and there is so much more right now that's out there that we support.
This kind of is almost my medical week. I've had a retired doctor where we actually were talking about cancer and exactly what cancer is, the stem cell that overproduces cells because the message isn't getting back. Very fascinating. He really breaks cancer down. And then an energy healer that talks about how rebalancing the body and our energy in our body. And now you talking about, what we put in our body, which is not just the food, but which is also the anxiety, the emotions, and our environment, everything that we put in our body. And really the common denominator in all of this is the less we can live a stressful life, the better. Right? That stress is the number one killer, because it's the trigger for everything else.
Yes. And it's funny, talking about the word stress, what I found out one time, if you look at a dictionary, what stress was developed, I don't know exactly the year, but I want to say in 1920s, when they started developing mechanics that would put stress on the objects, and that word came out. But if you think about it, it's a pretty heavy word.
A pressure.
Yeah. It feels like so oppressive too. So when we even say the word stress, it already stresses us.
Yes.
Changing the
no
word.
Stress.
It's all about the energy, and words have energy, and words have power. So it's so important to also be mindful when you say things. You take that in, because you are what you speak. You are what you eat.
Yes. Well, the brain, say, I'm stressed out. The brain goes, okay, you're stressed out. We are the algorithm. We complain about social media. Oh, I get this hate rhetoric. Well, that's what you're feeding and responding to. Don't feed and respond to it. You won't get that. What you are putting out is what you're going to get back. And people need to understand we are an algorithm too. So what we plant, what we water, what we nurture is what's going to grow. So make your choice on what you're going to feed.
Yes, and who you connect with, who
Yes.
is your family. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be your immediate family.
Mm.
You know, you can resonate with people that just talk your language,
Yeah.
and that's okay. There's the
On the
fact that,
same vibe, on the same frequency,
yeah,
right?
just because somebody wears a white coat, it doesn't mean
Yeah.
that they know the answers.
Yeah. Yeah. And it also doesn't mean that they don't want to know, because many of a young doctor today is like, okay, I didn't know this, I want to know. And
Yes,
I've interviewed many a doctor now that has incorporated either spiritual health or holistic health, or certainly looking outside of just the mechanics of the body, and
yes,
realizing that our soul vibration and our
energy.
heart vibration is essential to the wellness of our body.
Yes, and our energy is so
Mm,
important. You know, our energy, like even right now, like, you know, as we are getting older,
mm.
you know, and you've heard it before, I'm sure, and I've heard it before when I was young, that elder people feel when the rain is coming. You know, they feel it in
Yes.
their movements. They
Yes.
feel it in their bones. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's energy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all about energy, like the winds, you know, in the air. Like right now is spring, so there's much more headache
Yeah.
because the wind actually has a tendency to do that. It brings headaches if you think about.
I look at from the wind. For me, it clears the cobwebs. I embrace the wind. For me, it blows away all that I don't need to have.
Oh, I
So,
love that.
right. And that when we look at the seasons, we are seasonal creatures. Yet
Absolutely.
we don't eat for our seasons. Right,
Mhm.
we because of preservatives or being able to freeze things or tin things, etc., we can have exotic fruits in the middle of winter, but our bodies are still very much designed to be seasonal. So the more we can eat seasonally, the better it is for our analog of our body.
Yes, and then during the seasons, like, you know, if you think about weather that's cold and winter, you know, your body temperature preserves your
Mm,
body organs and goes higher. So it actually is working hard to create the heat in the system. And
mhm,
then when you put raw food in the winter time, it has to work extra hard. So people that, for example, you know, will come to me with, you know, they would do just juicing or raw food, and then they actually break their stomach.
mm.
Um, it's called liquids, you know, that they stop being able to. Uh,
Digest solids.
yes,
Yes, yeah.
and the breakage of the
Mm,
system starts to happen. So you have to also be mindful that in the wintertime you want to eat more cooked foods,
yes.
and it
And we
depends
go more for carbs too.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the people who have sicknesses, you know, are not really able to digest as much, so the energy, instead of going to digestion of certain foods, will go into healing certain organ systems. So you have to be also very mindful who you work, what level you are,
Mm,
where you are on a level of healing, what is happening in your body, you know, and how old you are and how
mm.
much you need to eat. I mean, all those things change over life. Like we know that what we ate in age of 20, we cannot eat at the age of
No.
50.
No, I mean, we're not using our body's energy that much too. One of the interesting things I've had with this Dr. Putillan is he's very anti-grains. And he said that, 10,000 years ago, grains were introduced into the human body, but they're for birds. If we were meant to eat grains, he said we would have beaks. And he said, well, nuts are excellent for us, legumes and things, but grains aren't, because they cause the bloating and they're so much harder to digest. Yet we are very much pushed on a grain diet. And it's kind of become a stable. And, I think for a lot of people, it's like, maybe try eliminating the grains from your diet and see how your body is. Try different foods out and see how your body reacts.
Yes, of course. You try, you know, we know because people come to me a lot for weight loss, which
Mm,
is strangely enough, but that's okay because, you know, I basically, you know, will heal the body and the body will start losing weight.
mm,
But yes, today, number one, today grain is totally different than it used to be.
mm-hmm,
So, you know, we're coming up with the new series that grains are bad for us, but the grains are no longer the same grains also that they
mm-hmm.
used to be. And that's a big misunderstanding that the grains that we eat today are GMO crops, and the chemicals that they put on the crop is what actually causes a
Yeah.
lot of disturbances to our guts.
Yes. 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 The pesticides.
Pesticides,
Right.
because sometimes you go to Europe and you eat the same grain that you
Mm.
eat here and nothing happens to your body. Here, you'll start bloating like in a minute.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And I've done a number of anti-GMO shows, and I was on an anti-GMO rally, and the thing is, their theory is, we can produce more so there's less famine in the world. But then what you're doing is producing more health issues in the world. So if they're not dying of hunger, they're now dying, of health issues caused by these GMO grains. And I think we have to be very, very mindful
Very much.
of what we buy, which means read the labels.
Totally read the labels. And and you think about who is backing up all this GMO people. Do we know who is backing government is and
Yes.
pharmaceuticals?
Yes. Oh, farmer,
The way.
farmers behind it all, um,
And they're
it
forced to.
it's it will let's look at the pharmaceutical industry. Their entire agenda is to keep you sick,
Absolutely.
because
Yes.
if they keep you sick, they keep themselves wealthy. It isn't about making you better. It's about giving you the illusion you feel better, so you'll continue to take what they dish out. Now, I know I'm on a couple of pharmaceuticals that I have to be, because they're life-threatening if I'm not. But I also know that to come off them now would be very dangerous, because I've been on them for so long that the body is, I don't know whether you become addicted or become dependent on it, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
the thing is that I know with diabetes type 2 is very much curable through
Very.
diet, right? And through various other exercise and de-stressing and everything else. Yet the first thing they want to do when your glucose go high, oh, you're a diabetic, let's put you on insulin.
Yep.
Right. And as shows have done, type 2 diabetes is an overproduction of insulin, not an
Totally.
underproduction.
Totally, yes. And
Right.
the same goes for thyroid.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, you can't lose weight. We'll put you on thyroid. Your thyroid is pretty high, and and then guess what? Weight does not go down.
No.
And then you become dependent on the supplement pharmaceutical, and then your body cannot any longer produce the hormones that it needs on its own.
Yes.
And it can be changed naturally. Yep.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, yes, let's face it, certain medicines, they're there for a reason. And, if you have an infection, an antibiotic, yeah, you don't want it to get out of control. Don't just try going all natural when you have a raging infection. You want to get rid of that infection. But one point in my life, I was on 8 to 9 antibiotics a year.
Wow.
And my entire system just broke down. And then I went shut off to the medical world and went down the holistic world. And when I did go back to see my doctor, it was with my daughter, and he said, I haven't seen you in a while. And I said, well, I'm nutritionalizing. And he said, well, that's going to put me out of business. All right. So, there is
knowledge that
it's but the interesting thing is that later on he forgot I talked to him about echinacea, and then started talking to me about echinacea. So it means that he was beginning to kind of understand that really the merging of the two worlds to serve your client is better. But it is interesting, the immediate reaction there, and that is just purely obviously based on their fear. There are some cultures that pay the doctors to keep you well, and if you get sick, you stop paying them.
Yes, and unfortunately today, it's not because they don't want to. Of course, everybody who goes into medicine are there to go to cure the world, and we know that. But so we have to give them, the intentions are very, very good. But the idea that you get 5 hours in a 6-year of training of nutrition, and the rest is pharmaceutical, is just the way they've been brought up.
Yeah, there's a wonderful person who started a university of Western and holistic medicine practices being taught at the same time, which I think is wonderful, because now it is the best of both worlds.
Yes,
that are going out there, the balance, right?
and there are more and more doctors, and the ones that I actually follow and are mentoring
Mm,
me and have mentored me, and my mentors are the doctors that went holistic
yeah,
and went off, and today they're teaching and doing classes, and changing the system. Like some
yeah.
of them, like Dr. Neil Bernard, Dr. Klepper is another one, Dr. Goldhammer is another one that I follow, and there's a couple of more, like Dr. Ornish is one of them that have published a lot of books on how to heal your heart with diet. So
Mm,
I follow all of those beautiful souls that are, you know, combining the Western and Eastern.
yeah.
And my background in Chinese medicine, I'm very happy to apply that.
Well, when I first met my husband, my ex-husband now, but when I first met him, he is Chinese, and I was on 17 cups of coffee a day. And I know, whoa, why you not the time? You know, constantly didn't know how to sleep and constantly on the, on the go. And part of that is being in the restaurant industry. You're constantly, drinking coffee to keep going. But he got me on for a month on ginseng tea, raw
Mhm.
root ginseng tea, which you can keep filling up with hot water because it takes so long. It's such strength there. And it's amazing what it changed. The energy became more sustainable. I didn't crave the coffee, and it just started doing some amazing other things for me as well. And I'm an asthmatic, and I've been to allergists that have got holistically rid of some of the issues that cause my asthma. So where I used to be on 1 or 2 pumps a month, I became on 1 pump every 6 weeks, or depending seasonal, obviously, blossom time, and a few other times it goes up a bit. But there's so many beautiful other, modalities out there that we need to be open to, right? We can't just put all our eggs in one basket, because we're denying ourselves the whole healing. And we've also got to understand that we need to take responsibility for our health. Our health is our choice.
Yes, and there are a lot of supplements that are good supplements, that we are missing, of
Mm,
course, out of the diet, because the earth is being depleted, and that's why I am
yes.
so passionate about, our farming and
Mm.
lands and all this.
Oh, what's going on in the Amazon? He's literally selling the Amazon, destroying the Amazon, and changing it into agriculture, animal farm, which we're trying to get away from and go plant-based. And he's destroying all of the beautiful holistic answers that are there, purely for profit.
Purely for profit. And my biggest thing that I've seen, actually, a very interesting movie, and I forgot the name of it, but I will be happy to send it to you. How we, just by replanting the forest in Amazon, can actually change the way that the climate is changing
Yes,
right now.
yes, most certainly.
We're taking away, the trees that absorb this water and
Yes,
condensation that's going and reflecting and back into the heavens,
yeah,
that are causing the heat to come, and the methane gases today are actually even sometimes not necessarily produced by the cows only and the manure, but it also produces from the heat that the sun is
mm,
actually becoming hotter and the earth is becoming hotter. So it will eventually come out from the earth itself. So we
yes,
need the forests. We must have those forests. It's totally
yeah.
crop.
Not only is it a oxygen source, but there also is a frequency of connectiveness that comes from the trees, that just taking a walk through the forest, of how it can calm you down, how you can open you up. Trees and forest are, this is why my overall shows are called the Orchard of Wisdom, because you just pick from a tree that beautiful wisdom there. They have and the Judy Dench's movie on trees is a documentary definitely to see. And it's the beautiful matrix they have from one tree to the other, and how they connect and support one another. And even when a tree goes down, how out of its demise comes new life, and
And
nothing is wasted. It is all working together. They don't care if you're an oak or you're a fir or you're this, you're that. They're a community. And vibrationally what they sent off and the messages that they sent off. If you talk to trees, folks, listen. No, they're not going to talk English back to you, but they're going to speak to your heart and soul, bypass the brain, but the brain will feel better for it. And it's the answers are always in nature, but we keep destroying nature.
Yes, and the most beautiful, when I was going to Chinese medical school, we had I Ching, and we had this beautiful poetry that how Chinese developed this Chinese medicine is by actually watching the nature, integrating and playing with each other, and they applied the laws to healing our bodies the same way that the healing happens in nature. It's very true.
But nature's always had the answers.
Yes.
And if you want to go and calm down, go out in nature. Yes. Listen to the birds sing, the hummingbirds as they come for the water or build their nests. Watch the doggies with a stick, a child in the forest picking things up. Nature will always make you smile. Nature will always calm you down. Nature will always speak to your inner heart and soul, right? Yes. It is that we keep looking for the outside in answers, but nature is our insights. We are a part of nature. And when we connect fiber optically with nature, we realize we're not alone, and nature there has got our backs.
It's funny you're saying it, and I'm remembering a client of mine who had colon cancer, and she was diagnosed with stage 4. And she was a client, and it was miraculous. We were able to shrink her tumors just by going through the natural way of eating and detoxing the system. The doctors were amazed because she was under chemo for years, like 2 years in a row.
Wow, God, how depleting on her body.
It was so depleting on her body, and they were actually feeding her with cortisols because they were calming down the fire, basically, that was producing and burning her system with chemo. But one of the exercises that she loved that we did is going out into her yard and standing with her feet naked on the ground, and just feeling the ground giving her the energy and support. And slowly, she was not, like in the beginning, she wasn't able to get up from bed. She was dancing, like after a month and a half working with her. It was just so beautiful. And I actually did a video with her, talking about her numbers that were inflammation markers that were going down and the tumors going down. But she was just so happy and vibrant, and the nature was such a beautiful part of it. That healing journey.
Water is my conduit. If I put my feet in water,
that
is it carries such beautiful energy, and my entire cosmic sign and everything is about needing to be in flow. I'm an air sign, and water is constant. You've got to be moving forward, but we forget that in our body, our energy, our blood, our oxygen constantly needs to be in flow. Everything has to be moving. It cannot be stagnant. And that is exactly. Get up and just shake your booty, just kind of get the blood flow going. Exactly. And it's that if we look at nature and the flow of nature and realize we are a part of nature, well, then therefore we need to be in flow. Thoughts, physical, diet, fluids, flushing out, everything needs to be in flow because everything has a mechanism that is meant to work together, and we need to assist it.
Absolutely, yes, 100%. I see the blue eyes that you have, and I see the blue everywhere around you.
I'm a blue person, yes.
My daughter also has blue eyes, and she is also such a water person, and I am also a water person. But I need both. I need a combination of like the woods and the water. So it's beautiful. That's true. The nature is a one of a kind, and when we're going to be gone, the nature is going to still be around.
Oh yes, and if we're not careful, Mama Earth may evict us because we are not treating her right. And we go around complaining about our rights and our freedom, but we forget that we are guests here on this planet.
Yes,
so and this planet is providing absolutely everything we need to be abundant and enriched. And yet we're always saying it's not enough, I want more.
Yes, And it all starts with us. It starts
Yes.
with taking care of yourself. And then the body, will automatically open up, and your mind will open up to how beautiful is what's surround us. It doesn't need to be more, 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 more.
No.
It's enough. We are
Yeah.
enough. Yeah.
Yes. And when we get to that stage, when our equilibrium has calmed down, our stomach has calmed down, the flow of our body, mind, heart, and soul is in sync and it's calmed down, we then truly and utterly understand the enrichment and the abundance of life, our meaningful purpose in life. And we
Yeah.
really understand then the gift that we've been given. Right.
Yes,
And, money is important. Yes, we're human. We need to pay the rent and roof over our head, food in our stomach, etc., etc. Yes, it's very important. But if we could look to how enriched and abundant we are from heart, soul, and spirit, then the body and the mind will follow.
totally. 100%. And we're here to support all. And your show is so beautiful in getting that message out. And I'm so happy to be part of this messages that you are giving this world, a learning experience that everything is possible.
Everything is possible. But the big thing here is free will. Are you willing to participate in your own healing, in your own life, in the life of this planet? Right? It's not sit back and wait for something to come to you, cure me, give me this me. We have to be participants. And if our health is out of whack, we've got to be our own investigators as to look what. And that's the reason why I do these shows with people like you. You've been there, you investigated, you discovered, you healed, and now because of that, you're healing others.
Yes.
That is the greatest gift of all.
And I'm so passionate. Yes. And all these women in this book that will be available April 1st for 99 cents. It's going to go, all the proceeds to the beautiful organizations like educating women, trafficking for young people, and also saving the oceans. All of this is benefiting the society, and our knowledge and journey is out there to support so many more that want it, that are ready to take it. Yeah.
At 99 cents, you can afford to get many copies and just hand them around.
Yes. The book is going to be available later in a regular book form, but the Kindle version that's going to come out, that you don't have to have a Kindle to get it, but it will be available for 99 cents. So for those of you who don't want to spend, I don't know, I'd probably be like $5.99 or $6.99 for a regular copy. But those of you who don't want to spend that money and want to spend 99 cents and still get the information and support the organization that we're supporting, being very proud being part of it.
I call it the the Netflix syndrome. Netflix is around $10 a month, and there's so many millions upon millions of people paying that, which is a low number, but you get more people. So 99 cents, the reason why it's low is to bring more people on, not
Yes.
only for the information, but the more of the masses, the more the support. But this
Yes.
is really something you can afford to really purchase for your whole family, for your friends. I always say, book clubs are wonderful because you read it and you discuss, but I encourage podcast clubs as well, folks, listening to podcasts and having a conversation afterwards. And it's even better if you've read the book, listen to the podcast and now have the conversation. Because when we share, we learn,
We're,
right?
yes, and there's so much knowledge in those books, because I mean, for me personally, I had, gone and learned so much how to, and invested my time and life basically in following the steps that gave me the success in my healing journey. And now I'm just so passionate to pass it on.
But that was the reason why you had to go through what you went through to discover what you needed to know so that you could share and pass it on.
Yes, like the name of the book is My Mess is My Message.
Yes, yes.
I
And
love it.
that is the point. I mean, I had a show yesterday with somebody who, last week, and it was, she was, God, what kind of contract it is, but anyway, she would interview all the stars, and she had a whole advertising company of that and doing exceptionally well, very well revered.
Mhm.
and her husband didn't pay taxes. And then they came after her. And in the divorce, she came after her. She lost her business. She lost her home. She lost everything. Ended
Wow.
up being homeless, sleeping on people's couches.
Mm.
Ended up getting sick because of the stress. But then from that came the phoenix, came the rise, where she realized, like, she was doing a talk one day and then she just stopped in the middle of the talk. She said, I can't do this. And she just blurted out everything that had happened to her. All right. And what she was going through. And then she had like 200 women lining up ready to talk to her about it. Me too, me too, me too. Set her
Yes.
on a totally different path where now
Mm.
she's able to help people in that transition. Everything that happens to us that we think is catastrophic at the time is just an invitation for us to rise in our own light. But we've got to be willing to go through the process to
Yes.
understand the tools that we have that we need to share forward.
And to understand that the healing is possible,
Yes.
and the body wants to heal,
Yes.
emotionally, you have to really trust that process and not succumb to, I'm done on
Mm-hmm.
this. You really have to have that, you know, will and will to live and will to learn. And they say, how they say, when you need, the teacher will appear.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
And
and,
be willing to listen to the teacher and apply.
and apply.
Yeah, the teacher isn't there just to go da 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 and you go, oh, that's very nice. Am I cured now? No, the teacher's there to show you the how to, but you've got to apply to.
Yes.
You're the one that's got to go through the process,
Yes.
the emotions. And can it be uncomfortable sometimes? Yes. But that's part of the detoxing of the old, whether it's reprogramming or whether it's rehealing. It's got to be willing to go through that process to come out the other side and
Yes. And
embrace who you are meant to be.
I just want to say one message is that, what I'm noticing, like, people, clients and patients that I work with, they come to experience this medicine, alternative medicine, usually as a last resort,
Mm,
because usually we'll try all different pharmaceuticals and
yeah.
all non-alternative. And then when there is no answers and they are really at the end of the rope, and they will succumb to trying something, an alternative healing process way. But I just want to be able to, give the message out that, just listening to the body, that you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to go to that last resort. You can be healed when the body is sending us messages, and the body is constantly sending us messages.
Yes.
It will bring you down to your knees if you don't listen, but it's constantly sending us messages.
Well, sometimes it's the old cosmic 2x4. You're not paying attention to the messages. I'm going to have to flatten you. I'm going to
Yes.
have to take everything away from you so that you have to listen step by step in order to get back up, in order to walk forward. And sometimes people need that, to redirect. And other times other people go, oh, there's something trying to get through to me. I'm going to open up that channel and listen. But
Yes.
most of the time it's the cosmic 2x4.
Most it is. But
Yeah.
what do they say? There's a saying that goes, the smart ones learn on other people's mistakes.
Yes. Yes. Yes, that was my younger daughter. She watched her brother and sister and goes, okay, I know how not to do it.
The smart one.
Yes.
I was a stubborn one. Like, no, I'm gonna do it my way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes. I was, well, for me, it was what was going on in the norm I didn't identify with at all. It just wasn't me. It was foreign in that world. And I had a conflict of being who I was and trying to fit until eventually it was, I'm not meant to fit into this world. This world can come to me and
Beautiful.
see me and hear me in my world if they so wish. And if they don't, it's okay.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much for having me. Such a beautiful.
Always a pleasure to having you here. And so, let's go through a little bit of what we have here on. The book is My Mess is My Message. And
Yes.
the link isn't out yet until next week. So I invite people to come back to selfdiscoverymedia.com and simply put in your name, which is Irina, Irina, Lotvin, Lotvin. Not only will you get both shows, her other show only comes out on well, it'll be out by now, but you'll get both shows, which you can listen to both shows where we cover so much, but also it'll have the link for the book on there as well. And, you know, she's got all these wonderful courses. You've got a wonderful giveaway. So let's share what those are, Han.
Okay, so one of them is published on my actually site that's called irinawellness.com. And there you can learn more about me, what I do, how I help change your health. And one of the giveaways that I do is called 7 Secrets to Build Your Immune System, to boost your immune system. I don't remember what it was exactly named, but it's about your immune system. It's
7 Secrets to a Healthy Immune System.
Healthy immune system. Yes, thank you. It's about 60 pages long, and it has all the information you will need and want to learn how you can change your and get your immune system healthy. And the immune system is really our number one system that affects everything.
Absolutely. Yes. If it's not working, you're not working.
Yes, you're done. You're gone. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and then I also have a little video there that you could watch, just about different transformations that do happen. And then if anybody wants to talk to me, there is a button that you could schedule a call with me for a free consultation, just to put you on the right place. And if something I can help you with, I'll be more than happy to guide you.
Excellent. You know, it's the reason why you've gone through what you've gone through to become who you are and what you're doing today is to benefit people who are going through what you went through. That is the circle of life. So when we pay attention to people who have gone through it, they understand what you're going through. They understand the emotions around it. They understand that, you know, these skills and tools they have, you can apply to your own life. Right now, does it mean that maybe you're going to use that chisel in a different way? But never mind, you've got the chisel there, and the instructions on how to use it, how you use it is again up to you. But let us understand that it is a gift. When people have gone through it, made their own discovery, and now turning around and sharing that wisdom with you, it is a gift to you. Please always appreciate that gift in whatever way it is. And very often, obviously, the paying for it. Invest in yourself. It isn't about going out and buying a new outfit just to make yourself feel better. It's about taking that same money and putting it into somebody who is going to help you feel better from the inside out. Everything is the inside out, folks. Everything.
Yes. And I know we have to end, but it's funny that you said it inside out. And I used to be a fashion designer in my first career. So I used to dress people from outside in.
Yes.
And now it's inside out.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, this is as a fashion designer, you will know, because I used to own a dress shop as well. It's you can put an outfit on someone and it may look nice, but when they feel beautiful from the inside out, they now look gorgeous.
Yes. Yes, it's a whole different person. Radiation.
Yes,
it's like your
radiating out the essence of yourself. That you could wear a sack and look beautiful, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. So always wonderful to have you here, love. Welcome back anytime. To reiterate, folks, the book is My Mess is My Message, and there's 17 women sharing their own beautiful mess, their own journey, their own beautiful contributions, and there's so many of them in there. Please come back here to selfdiscoverymedia.com and put in Irene Lotvin, and the link to the book is there. The beautiful thing, the book, the ebook goes to supporting womentrafficking.org and cleanoceans.org, but also, you know, look at the wonderful gift that she has to share with you, which is 7 Secrets to a Healthy Immune System. But also she offers you you 30 minutes of consultation for you to find out, is there that synergy between the two of you where you really feel that she can help you? She's been there, she's done it, she knows exactly what she's talking about. And we have got to place emphasis on our gut, on our immune system. If we don't, it gets to a point of no return, right? So we don't want to be fixing somebody at stage 4 cancer. We want to get you, even when the cancer starts raising its head. Okay, hello, cancer, you and I have got a job to do. And that means you exiting, right?
Yes. Bye. Yep.
Goodbye. And that's attitude, gratitude, and a willingness to participate. And Irina has got skills and tools that can help you to do that. And your gut health is number one. Number one.
Number one. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us here, Irina.
Thank you for having me again. It's a pleasure, and I'm so loving coming and talking to you. You are such an inspiration yourself, and thank you for broadcasting, and changing people's lives with the information that they are able to get through your channel. So come back and support this channel. It has to stay alive so that people can come and get their answers answered.
Thank you so much. And your site is irinawellness.com. Everything is there, folks. So your wellness is your choice. You can choose positive living, but again, it's your choice. Are you going to be an active participant in your own life, in your own health? All right. And Irina's here to help guide you along the way, give you the tools, give you the solutions for you to apply, right? Because we want all of you to be healthy and abundant.
All we have is, I say, health is our only wellness. No, I say our health is the only wealth we have.
Yes, health is wealth. Yeah. Health is wealth. I called a show that, and the guy said, "But what do you mean?" And I said, "Without health, it doesn't matter how wealthy you think you are, you're poor.
You're done. Yep.
You're done. You're done. No amount of money." A quick story on that. A guy who was a co-owner of the Lakers and his sister, they both got cancer at the same time. She went with 2 feathers, an old Indian way of doing it, brought out 18 growths out of her body, right? He went Western medicine. They over-radiated him, 4 operations, and killed him.
Yes, and there's
all the money that best doctors could buy are old traditional ways of doing it. The Chinese medicine has been around for thousands of years, folks.
Over 5. Over 5,000.
Oh yeah. And like I can attest to, my health was shot when I met my husband, and through all the wonderful nutritionals and everything he had me on, it changed my life around completely. And so, the Chinese medicine, absolutely brilliant. So just 30-minute call, the 60-page document, the reading of the book, it's like dip your feet in the water, start taking ownership, and reach out to Irina. Okay.
Yep. We'll be happy to give you guidance anytime, for sure. Yep. Thank you.
My pleasure. Remember, folks, your health is your choice. Choosing to live positively is your choice. Everything is here for you to help you to do that. It's just got to be your free will and your choice to invest and nurture your own self. Until next time, folks, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. Please tune in to our selfdiscoverymedia.com/shows, and you will see all the other genres that we have from you. Every week on Tuesday, we bring you new shows from illuminating people. If you know someone that should be interviewed, please contact us at info@selfdiscoverymedia.com. Now stay tuned for your next show.